Okay, in this video we're taking a look at some bizarre coincidences, and I'm going to try to encourage you to let me know, how do you explain this? And one of the reasons that we're doing this is because my good friend Tim Mosman from the Infinite Plane Society, the president of the IPS, he had this to say in a recent live stream.
And we've been cutting edge with all of the predictive programming and concurrent programming, and as you'll see today, we have made the case. Synchromysticism, these mystified explanations for predictive programming, that's been debunked. Synchromysticism is deader than the Mandela effect.
So synchromysticism is deader than Mandela effect.
False flag theories, those are all false.
Well, I'm not talking about false flag theories, so we'll just focus on this idea of synchromysticism, or this idea of how do you explain these bizarre coincidences that we see in these different events, including the big event from the weekend just gone. So let's get to this. This is a piece that I wrote yesterday. It took me quite a bit of time to put together the research and to structure it and put together all the evidence and the links and the images, and I'm very happy with it. I'll put a link to the full article in the comment section below, but today we're just going to focus on this one part 7 of the article in question. So let's get straight into it then. So, Bethel's Pines. This leads us to the logo seal of Bethel Park, where the Trump shooter reportedly grew up and went to school, and this is the seal of Bethel Park. So you get the idea. This Thomas Matthew Crooks, he supposedly came from Bethel Park. And credit to Synchromorpheus, who tweeted about this same topic a couple of days ago. Now, if you look at this, it appears as though you've got two green triangles above another green triangle. So that would appear to symbolize trees. Now, here's another sign which seems to support the same interpretation. Municipality of Bethel Park, their oak tree park. So you see the two green trees there. Now remember, we're talking about Bethel Park because this is the hometown of the reported Trump shooter. And this leads us to consider the twin pines of Back to the Future. And if you're new here, don't get too discombobulated just yet. This all makes sense in just a moment. Most of you can see where I'm going with this, but for those of you who are new here, just bear with me. So, these are the two pines, the twin pines from the Back to the Future series. So again, look at these two green trees. This is where the shooter went to school, in Bethel Park. This is where he grew up, supposedly. Now let's take a look at these Twin Pines Mall. And of course, if you were to flip that 180 degrees, you'd have a 9/11. And then during the series, of course, one of the trees is destroyed. And then later on in the future, when you go back to the future or whatever, you've got the Lone Pine Mall. So you get the idea. Now, Marty arrives at Twin Pines Mall at 1:16 a.m., which can be seen as a 9/11 when flipped 180 degrees. One of the trees is destroyed, as I just explained. So when he revisits the same place later in the series, it's now the Lone Pine Mall. Again, you get the idea. Now, Thomas Matthew Crooks, the would-be Trump assassin, is considered to be a lone gunman, a lone shooter. And if you were to web search something like, what is the meaning of Thomas? The result you would see might be something like this. Twin. Thomas is a classic male given name of Aramaic origin, meaning twin. Okay, so you've got the Lone Gunman Mall and the Twin Pines Mall. You can see what I'm trying to get at here, right? I'm sure you're following this. Now, in the Trump shooting, the lone shooter is also a twin, okay, because he is a Thomas. So the lone shooter is a twin. Lone shooter is a twin, and he comes from Bethel Park, right, which has this seal as its logo. You get the idea. Now, this is, of course, only the beginning of the Back to the Future Twin Pine predictive programming sinks. Joe Alexander, aka Apophonia Productions, produced a masterpiece of synchromysticism all those years ago, the Back to the Future Predicts 9/11 video, which I'm sure most of you have seen. Now, Alexander, the guy who made that video, his work was in conjunction with the broader SyncBook community, who I have referenced and promoted countless times on this website and elsewhere. In the Back to the Future series, the DeLorean is able to travel through time once it reaches 88 miles per hour. As chance would have it, if you go to the Wikipedia page for Bethel Park, it says this: Pennsylvania Route 88 and US Route 19 run through Bethel Park, with much of the area's busy commercial developments along the two corridors. So Route 88 runs through Bethel Park, and Route 19 does as well. Route 19 may also be seen as conspicuous given what was reported to have happened on the other side of the country back in 2017. I'm sure this image stands out to a lot of you. So Route 19, Route 91, make of that what you will. Now, if you're interested in this kind of thing, I did publish some material on the sinky elements of that event at the time. Route 91, Occult Ritual and True Man. I'll link to that in the comment section below as well. Now, there's some more context that I do go into in the article in a different section, but just for the benefit of those of you who are watching this who won't see the article, it turns out that Trump actually owns a golf club, and one of his residences, so not Mar-a-Lago but a separate residence, is on the estate which used to be owned by John DeLorean, the guy who created the DeLorean Motor Company. Therefore, the DeLorean car itself, yes, check this out. Let's zoom in for, can we control, let's do that. We'll zoom in to make it easy to read. All right, host of the 2017 US Women's Open and former estate of famed automaker John DeLorean, the history behind the Trump National Bedminster will have you brimming with intrigue. The distinguished property, located less than an hour from New York, in prestigious Somerset County, was once Lamington Farm. Lamington Farm was published in 1917 by Morgan Cooperwaith, don't know how to pronounce that, Cowperwaith, whatever, an executive at New York insurance brokerage, and soon became the Cooperwaith Place. And then later on, it was sold to John Z. DeLorean, automaker famous for his winged door car, as featured in the Back to the Future series. And this is where Trump now resides part-time, and where his Trump International Golf Club, this is where it's based. So we start to notice a lot of these so-called coincidences, and that is just a smidgen of what I presented in this piece, Trump and Trumpets. So if you're interested in that, go and check it out. Links to that are in the comment section below. But for those of you watching this video, I want to ask you, what do you think about this idea that synchromysticism is dead? Do you think it is dead of the Mandela effect? That is the claim by my good friend Tim Osmond from the Infinite Plane Society. I don't think he's a fan of synchromysticism, but then again, we might be using different terms to describe a similar thing, or maybe we've got very different conceptualizations of what's happening in this realm. So either way, I want your comments in the comments section below. Like I said, go and check out the full. This is a 7,000 word article going through a range of these so-called coincidences to do with this event that took place just a few days ago. Link to this in the comment section below. And for those of you who can't access it because you're not members of johnlebon.com, this piece I'll also link to is available publicly. And it talks about what I think skepticism is all about. So this one is available publicly. This one is available to the people who support johnlebon.com. And links to the show notes below in the comment section below. Leave your comments. I look forward to reading what you have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking.
Nobody died, nobody got hurt.
Oh, what are you talking about now?
I have to watch JLP's new video. I have to watch it.
But you can't really explain that to a normie. Their eyes glaze over and...
He's so attractive. I absolutely...
He's so good looking, man.
That guy was a professional, high-level government operative.
But this idea that they all like to piddle on one another, are you aware?
It just gets mad. It's madness.
Yeah.
Like, they'll lead us off on a merry dance, mate. We're halfway down the garden path already.
When did you send me Bitcoin?
And Epic. You got some Epic too, I think.
No.
You should be ashamed, and I won't forget the horrible thing you just told me.
Just deal with it, man.
Yeah, but who knows if any of this is, like, reality, right?
The sound man has gone crazy.